All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back for another session of Drop Everything and Read. When we last left Star and the crew with The Hate You Give, Star was having a very interesting, heated discussion with two of her supposed good friends, Haley and Maya. Um, excuse me. One of the most pivotal points was when the father of Officer 115 was giving his interview on TV, and the girls had very different opinions about that. They continued to use the word matter again and again. And as we know, that echoes the real world Black Lives Matter movement, trying to again assign importance and equality to Black life lost and white life lost, whoever's life. No matter what skin color, a life lost is a life lost. So the girls were having some arguments about that. And though Star was sort of taken aback by Haley's blatant racism, Maya asserts that it's not a new phenomenon. Even just those little throwaway comments that people can sometimes make, especially Haley in their friendship, indicated deeper prejudice. And sometimes people of color shouldn't have to accept that as racism or a normal part of life. They need to speak up and challenge people to do better. So, again, that idea of finding your voice and using it as a weapon or tool for better things. Another point I just want to highlight before we move on. Star also recognizes how silence can be a tool of holding her back, a tool of oppression. We've talked about oppression before. Sometimes people try and hold certain groups or social classes back and not giving them the same treatment. And Star is realizing that her silence is adding to that oppression. So more and more she has that drive to speak up. And we're going to see what happens. We know that Maya and Star have that little minority alliance. That's how our last session ended, and we'll see how the girls sort out their friendship moving forward. For those of you lucky enough to have a book at home, you are on page 252. And for those of you following along with us on the screen, as you can see, we're on page 112. So very different in the page numberings, but we're just at the tail end of chapter 14. So here we go. A game of NBA 2K15, so 2015, later, so once they had one more game, I whooped Maya's butt. I'm walking back to Uncle Carlos's house with a foil wrap plate of seafood lasagna. Mrs. Yang never lets me leave empty handed, and I never turn down food. Iron street lamps line the sidewalks, and I see Uncle Carlos from a few houses down, sitting on his front steps in the dark. He's chugging back something. As I get closer, I can see the Heineken. I put my plate on the steps and sit behind him. You better not have been at your little boyfriend's house, he says. Lord, Chris is always little to him, and they're almost the same height. No, I was at Maya's. I stretch my legs forward and yawn. It's been a long day. I can't believe you're drinking, I say through my yawn. I'm not drinking. It's one beer. Is that what Nana said? He cuts me a look. Star. So why is this a tense moment? Just feeling the vibe here as we read these. I'm not drinking. It's one beer. Is that what Nana said? He cuts me a look. Anyone have a prediction of why that might be an important question? Yeah, I know you're thinking, okay, maybe someone's had a drinking problem, whether that's Carlos. And then did Nana say that was okay? Maybe Nana had a drinking problem? Let's find out. Uncle Carlos, I say as firmly. We battle it out, hard stare versus hard stare. He sets the beer down. Here's the thing. Nana's an alcoholic. She's not as bad as she used to be, but all it takes is one hard drink, and she's the other Nana. I've heard stories of her drunken rages from back in the day. She'd blame Mama and Uncle Carlos that their daddy went back to his wife and other kids. She'd lock them out of the house, cuss at them, all kinds of stuff. So, no, one beer isn't one beer to Uncle Carlos, who's always been anti alcohol. Sorry, he says. It's been one of those nights. You saw the interview, didn't you? I ask. Yeah, I was hoping you didn't. I did. Did my mom see? Oh, yeah, she saw it. So did Pam and your grandma. I've never been in a room with so many pissed off women in my life. He looks at me. How are you dealing with it? I shrug. Yeah, I'm pissed, but honestly, I expected his dad to make him the victim. I did too. He rests his cheek in his palm, his elbow propped on his knee. It's not too dark on the steps. I see the bruising on his hand, just fine now. So, I say, patting my knees. On leave, huh? He looks at me like he's trying to figure out what I'm getting at. Yeah? Silence. Did you fight him, Uncle Carlos? He straightens up. And when we're asking, did you fight him? Again, the suggestion of fighting Officer 115. That's right. He straightens up. No, I had a discussion with him. You mean your fist talked to his eye? Did you say something about me? He pointed his gun at you. That was more than enough. His voice has a foreign edge to it. It's totally inappropriate, but I laugh. I have to hold my side. I laugh so hard. What's so funny? He cries. Uncle Carlos, you punched somebody. Hey, I'm from Garden Heights. I know how to fight. I can get down. I'm hollering right now. It's not funny, he says. I shouldn't have lost my cool like that. It was unprofessional. Now I've set a bad example for you. Yeah, you have, Muhammad Ali. I'm still laughing. Now he's laughing. Hush, he says. Our laughter dies down and it's real quiet out here. Nothing to do but look at the sky and all the stars. There's so many of them tonight. It's possible that I don't notice them at home because of all the other stuff. Sometimes it's hard to believe Garden Heights and Riverton Hills share the same sky. You remember what I used to tell you, Uncle Carlos says? I scoot closer to him. That I'm not named after the stars, but the stars are named after me? You were really trying to give me a big head, huh? He chuckles. No, I wanted you to know how special you are. And again, we get a glimpse of the closeness between Star and her uncle. Special or not, you shouldn't have risked your job for me. You love your job, but I love you more. You're one reason I even became a cop, baby girl, because I love you and all those folks in the neighborhood. I know. That's why I don't want you to risk it. We need the ones like you, the ones like me. He gives a hollow laugh. You know, I got pissed listening to that man talk about you and Khalil like that, but it made me consider the comments I made about Khalil that night in your parents' kitchen. In your parents' kitchen. What comments? I know you were eavesdropping, Star. Don't act brand new. I smirk. Uncle Carlos said, brand new. You mean when you called Khalil a drug dealer? He nods. Even if he was, I knew that boy, watched him grow up with you. He was more than any bad decision he made, he says. I hate that I let myself fall into that mindset of trying to rationalize his death. And at the end of the day, you don't kill someone for opening a car door. If you do, you shouldn't be a cop. I tear up. It's good to hear my parents and Miss Alfra say that or see all the protesters shout about it. For my uncle, the cop, though, it's a relief, even if it makes everything hurt a little bit more. I told Brian that, he says, looking at his knuckles, after I clocked him. Told the chief, too. Actually, I think I screamed it loud enough for everybody in the precinct to hear. It doesn't take away from what I did, though. I dropped the ball on Khalil. No, you didn't. Yes, I did, he says. I knew him, knew his family situation. After he stopped coming around with you, he was out of sight and out of mind to me, and there's no excuse for that. There's no excuse for me either. I think all of us feel that, I mutter. That's one reason Daddy's determined to help Devante. Yeah, he says, me too. I look at all the stars again. Daddy says he named me Star because I was his light in his darkness. I need some light in my own darkness right now. I wouldn't have killed Khalil, by the way, Uncle Carlos says. I don't know a lot of stuff, but I do know that. My eyes sting and my throat tightens. I've turned into such a damn crybaby. I snuggle closer to Uncle Carlos and hope it says everything I can't. Again, an example of sometimes how actions can speak louder than words. As we get into chapter 15, I want to leave you guys, or I want to start us off with some questions. As we're reading, I want you to try and look for clues to help answer any three of these questions. How was Nana responsible for Lisa staying with Maverick after he slept with Aisha? So we've got a pretty reality show soap opera about to happen. How was Nana responsible for Lisa staying with Maverick after he slept with Aisha? If you want that Jerry Springer moment, there's your question. Our next one. What finally makes Maverick decide to give in and move out of Garden Heights? Little prediction of what's about to come. 3. How has Star's identity in the neighborhood changed? So how has Star's identity in Garden Heights changed? Number 4, how does Star fight back in her interview? And number 5, what was life like for Star when they lived in the projects. So trying to think how far we've come, paying attention to those clues as we're reading to solve the answers to these questions. Without further ado, let's keep going. Chapter 15. It takes an untouched stack of pancakes for Mama to say, "All right, Munch, what's up?" We have a table to ourselves in IHOP. It's early morning and the restaurant's almost empty, except for us and these big-bellied, bearded truckers stuffing their faces in a booth. Thanks to them, country music plays on the jukebox. I poke my fork at my pancakes. Not real hungry. Somewhat of a lie, somewhat the truth. I'm having a serious emotional hangover. There's that interview, Uncle Carlos, Haley, Khalil, Devante, my parents, a lot of emotional struggles for this young teenage girl. And I know many of us can relate with trying to make sure our family's happy and taken care of, especially in this trying time with the quarantine, not being able to see everyone daily, trying to do our video calls. There's a lot of emotion going on there. But remember, it's important to try and talk with those we trust to find that balance. Mama, Sakani, and I spent the night at Uncle Carlos's house, and I know it was more because Mama's mad at Daddy than it was about the riots. In fact, the news said last night was the first semi-peaceful night in the garden. Just protests, no riots. Cops were still throwing tear gas, though. Anyway, if I bring up my parents' fight, Mama's going to tell me, "Stay out of grown folks' business." You'd think since it's partially my fault they fought, it is my business. But nope. I don't know who's supposed to believe that you're not hungry, Mama says. You've always been greedy. I roll my eyes and yawn. She got me up too early and said we were going to IHOP, just the two of us, like we used to do before Sakani came along and ruined everything. He has an extra uniform at Uncle Carlos's and can go to school with Daniel. I only had some sweats and a Drake t-shirt. Not DA office appropriate. Again, district attorney. She's got her big interview today. I gotta go home and change. Thanks for bringing me here, I say with my awful mood. I owe her that, at least. Anytime, baby. We haven't hung out in a while. Somebody decided I wasn't cool anymore. And I'm sure we've all been there where our mom or dad wants to take us out and we may want to go and see a friend instead. Don't forget, our moms and dads need to feel loved, and our guardians, our foster parents, whoever we have that we're fortunate enough to have a home with, we need to make sure everyone feels loved. Somebody decided I wasn't cool anymore. I thought I was still cool, so whatever. She sips from her steaming mug of coffee. Are you scared to talk to the DA? Not really, although I do notice the clock is only 3.5 hours away from our 9:30 meeting. Is it that BS of an interview? That, and you see the word. Here we go again, Mama. Got his daddy going on TV telling lies, she says. And who's supposed to believe a grown man who's that scared of 2 children? People on the internet are saying the same thing. Black Twitter's been going in Officer Cruz's dad, claiming his name should be Tom Cruise with that performance he put on. Tumblr, too. I'm sure there are people who believe him. Haley did. But Miss Ofer was right. It backfired. Folks who never met me or Khalil are calling BS. So while the interview bothers me, it doesn't bother me that much. It's not really the interview, I say. It's other stuff, too. Like Khalil, I say. Devante told me some stuff about him, and I feel guilty. Stuff? Like what? She says. Why he sold drugs. He was trying to help Miss Brenda pay a debt to King. So again, he was selling to help his mom and keep the drug lords and the gangbangers away. Mama's eyes widen. What? Yeah. And he wasn't a King Lord. Khalil turned King down, and King's been lying to save face. I stare at my pancakes. Mom shakes her head. Why am I not surprised? King would do some mess like that. I stare at my pancakes. I should have known better. Should have known Khalil better. You had no way of knowing, baby, she says. That's the thing. If I would have been there for him, I couldn't have stopped him. Khalil was almost as stubborn as you. I know you cared about him a lot, even as more than a friend, but you can't blame yourself for this. I look up at her. What do you mean, cared about him as more than a friend? Don't play dumb, Star. Y'all liked each other for a long time. You think he liked me too? Lord. Mama rolls her eyes. Between the two of us, I'm the old one. You just called yourself old. Older one, she corrects, and shoots me a quick stank eye. And I saw it. How in the world did you miss it? I don't know. He always talked about other girls, not me. It's weird, though. I thought I was over my crush, but sometimes I don't know. Mama traces the rim of her mug. Munch, she says, and it's followed by a sigh. Baby, look. You're grieving, okay? That can amplify your emotions and make you feel things you haven't felt in a long time. Even if you do have feelings for Khalil, there's nothing wrong with that. Even though I'm with Chris? Yeah, you're 16. You're allowed to have feelings for more than one person. So you're saying I can be a hoe? Girl, she points at me. Don't make me kick you under this table. I'm saying don't beat yourself up about it. Grieve Khalil all you want. Miss him, allow yourself to miss what could have been, let your feelings get out of whack. But like I told you, don't stop living, all right? All right, good. So that's two things, she says. What else is up? What isn't up? My head is tight like my brain is overloaded. I'm guessing emotional hangovers feel a lot like actual hangovers. Haley, I say. She slurps her coffee loudly. What that little girl do now? Here she goes with this, Mama, you've never liked her. No, I've never liked how you followed her, like you can't think for yourself. There's a difference. I haven't, don't lie. Remember that drum set you begged me to buy? Why did you want it, Star? Haley wanted to start a band, but I liked the idea too. Hold up, though. Didn't you tell me you wanted to play guitar in this band? But Haley said you should play the drums? Yeah, but them little Jonas boys, she says. Which one did you really like? Joe. But who said you should be with the curly-headed one instead? Haley. But Nick was still fine, as all get out, and this is middle school stuff. Uh-huh. Last year you begged me to let you color your hair purple. Why, Star? I wanted. No. Why, Star? She says. The real why. Damn, there's a pattern here. Because Haley wanted me, her, and Maya to have matching hair. Exact damnly, baby. I love you, but you have a history of putting your hands aside and doing whatever that little girl wants. Excuse me if I don't like her. With all my receipts put out there like that, I say, I can see why. Good. Realizing is the first step. So what did she do now? We had an argument yesterday, I say. Really, though, things have been weird for a while. She stopped texting me and unfollowed my Tumblr. Mama reaches her fork onto my plate and breaks off a piece of pancake. What is Tumblr anyway? Is it like Facebook? No, and you're forbidden to get one. No parents allowed. You guys already took over Facebook. You haven't responded to my friend request yet. I know. I need Candy Crush lives. That's why I'll never respond. She gives me the look. I don't care. There are some things I absolutely refuse to do. So she unfollowed your Tumblr thingy, Mama says, proving why she can never have one. Is that all? No. She said and did some stupid stuff too. I rub my eyes. Like I said, it's too early. I'm starting to wonder why we're even friends. Well, Munch, she gets another freaking piece of my pancakes. You have to decide if the relationship is worth salvaging. Make a list of the good stuff, then make a list of the bad stuff. If one outweighs the other, then you know what you gotta do. So the pros and cons, the reasons for and reasons against, just like we do for argumentative writing. Trust me, that method hasn't failed me yet. Is that what you did with Daddy after Aisha got pregnant? Here we go with our answer to our first question. How was Nana responsible for Lisa staying with Maverick after he slept with Aisha? So is that what you did with Daddy after Aisha got pregnant? I ask. Because I'll be honest, I would have kicked him to the curb. No offense. It's all right. A lot of people called me a fool for going back to your daddy. Shoot, they may still call me a fool behind my back. Your Nana would have a stroke if she knew this, but she's the real reason I stayed with your daddy. I thought Nana hated Daddy. I think Nana still hates Daddy. Sadness creeps into Mama's eyes, but she gives me a small smile. When I was growing up, oh, I think I went too far. Sorry, guys. I was growing up. Oh, we lost our line. How did we get that far ahead? Wow. Well, I'd like to get you back. Okay, there we go. I thought Nana hated Daddy. I think Nana still hates Daddy. Sadness creeps into Mama's eyes, but she gives me a small smile. When I was growing up, your grandmother would do and say hurtful things when she was drunk and apologize the next morning. At an early age, I learned that people make mistakes, and you have to decide if their mistakes are bigger than your love for them. I'm going to read that again because, as you know, this is one of our posters that we have at school reminding us of one of the key themes from The Hate U Give. At an early age, I learned that people make mistakes. You have to decide if their mistakes are bigger than your love for them. That means if someone makes a mistake, can you look past it and try and work through it together and move forward? If someone's hurt you, maybe they said they'd pick you up at a certain time and they weren't there, or they said that you could be friends forever, and then you see as they've moved to a different grade or made different friends, they're no longer there for you. But is your love for them deeper than those mistakes? I know I've always said to students, family, friends of any kind, no matter what we've been through, if you need me, I'll be here for you. So please know that. If you are ever in a situation that you need to reach out and just talk, my love for you is bigger than any mistakes we may have made together, just like we see in the book. She takes a deep breath. Seven's not a mistake. I love him to death, but Maverick made a mistake in his actions. However, all of his good and the love we share outweighs that one mistake. Even with crazy Aisha in our lives, I ask? Mama chuckles. Even with crazy, messy, annoying Aisha. It's a little different, yeah. But if the good outweighs the bad, keep Haley in your life, baby. That might be the problem. A lot of the good stuff is from the past. The Jonas Brothers, High School Musical, our shared grief. Our friendship is based on memories. What do we have now? What if the good doesn't outweigh the bad, I ask? Then let her go, Mama says. And if you keep her in your life and she keeps doing the bad, let her go. Because I promise you, had your daddy pulled some mess like that again, I'd be married to Idris Elba and saying, Maverick who? I bust out laughing. Now eat, she says, and hands me her fork before I have no choice but to eat those pancakes, or but to eat these pancakes for you. We'll pause there for now. We'll be continuing with the drop everything and read again in our next session. So again, think about those questions. How was Nana responsible for Lisa staying with Maverick after he slept with Aisha? And we'll get ready to start learning some more in our next session. Have a great day.